All right, we are gonna start our 1 point perspective tunnel drawing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first start with my road that's gonna lead to my vanishing point right here. So I'm going to line this up, have a diagonal line here, and a diagonal line here. Okay, so here's my road. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create the tunnel. So I'm gonna go from here, I think, and add kind of a curved line. This is gonna be my tunnel. Except I want it to touch my road here. So this is gonna look like we're driving through a mountain. If you've ever driven through a mountain where sometimes you have to go through a tunnel. Okay, so it looks something like this. Right? Then, what else do we need? Ooh, okay, let's do some lights because they often have lights in the tunnel. So I'm gonna line this up with my vanishing point and I'm gonna draw some circles, and as they get farther away, they get smaller, smaller, smaller. Okay, same thing on this side. Lining it up, something like this. Larger, smaller as I go back, because things that are farther away appear smaller, things that are closer appear bigger, larger. Make these more full circle. Okay, so there's my lights. Okay, now the tunnel is going to be, I think I'm gonna do brick tunnel. So I'll show you a couple different options. You can do like a stone tunnel, a brick tunnel. There's lots of different ways we can add texture to this. So first I'm gonna add some details around the opening of my tunnel. So I'm gonna kind of recreate this line. Something like this. Maybe a little detail right here. And then this is going to be, like some brick maybe coming down for the opening of my tunnel. Something like that. Okay, so then I need to figure out what's gonna be outside. Is it gonna be, I'm gonna do rocks because we're driving through a mountain. So here's the rocks starting for the mountain we're entering. So something like this. Some boulders maybe. Lines of my cliff here. And this is gonna go all the way down to the corner. Maybe I get a little bit of a bush here or something, some landscape. In my mountain here. So a second option for the outside of your tunnel here could be maybe like some ground, some plants, shrubbery, trees, right? You can kind of get creative with this. Mine's kind of looking like boulders and rocks, like the side of a mountain. All right, so I got that there. Let's do the same thing on this side. Trying to make it look like the texture of rocks, mountains, boulders. So to do this, really, I'm just kind of adding organic shapes really loose and kind of sketchy. Okay, maybe I'll add a small kind of bush coming out of here. Add some of that greenery that could be in the mountains. Okay, so this would be the side of our road here as we lead into the tunnel. Okay, a couple more things we need. We need the center of the road lines, which would be lined up with my vanishing point. And actually, I'm gonna make them thicker, so I'm gonna move it off to the side a little bit. And now as they come closer to me, they're gonna get a little longer because they're getting bigger. So down here in my tunnel is gonna be pretty short because it's farther away, so they look smaller. So a little longer, a little longer, a little longer. Each time they get a little longer. Okay, so they look like they're getting closer, they're getting bigger to us. Okay, let's see. Okay, often in a tunnel, they might have a little bit of a side here. Kind of a sidewalk, not quite sidewalk, but some detail. I have one on this side. Remember lining up to my vanishing point so that it looks like we're going off into a tunnel. Okay, so I might add some horizontal lines. Just for some more detail. Okay, do the same thing on this side. Okay. Okay, final thing is gonna be the texture of my wall here. So I'm gonna do brick. You could also do stone. I've seen some with some lumber, like some wood pieces holding it up. You could add some wood around it. Yeah, lots of different things we could do. So I'm gonna use this ruler and I'm gonna start to do some horizontal lines this way. And now I want it to look somewhat old, like aged, like it's been around for a while. So I'm not gonna make them be exactly perfect, right? I wanna give a little bit of texture, right? So if I look at an old brick, it's not exactly perfect anymore. It's been around for a while. It's been weathered by rain and the sun. So instead of having these perfect lines, I'm gonna come in and make them a little bit off, right? A little bit more organic to give it that idea of texture. Okay, so I'm gonna do this all the way up. So I'll do that and then I'll come back and add the, whoops. Okay. This might work better this way. Okay. All the way up. Okay, then I'm going to add some vertical lines. This is where we get the brick kind of feel from. So I'm going to offset mine because when you look at brickwork, they tend to be offset. It would make the wall sturdier, right? So my lines are going to create basically a pattern, right? So let's make this a little more organic. We're going to have a brick here. Probably brick here. And these lines aren't perfect either. Make it look like texture or weathered. Okay. Adding brick there. So mine are kind of large. Another option, you can do them much smaller. So you'd have more bricks. Stone, you could do stone, which are almost just like organic shapes kind of fitting nicely together with a little bit of space in between. So there's a lot of different things you can do. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Adding a bit of variance to this line. Add some of that. Okay, so I am going to speed it up. So actually, and before I go, another thing you can do is you can add color, or you can leave it black and white, and we can use our blending stumps to shade, to add value and shading, right? Value is like light and dark of a color, and shading, right? So I'm going to actually leave mine black and white, and I might use a bit of Sharpie to make some of this even darker, and then I'm going to use my pencil just to add value to it. But you can add color if you want. If you want your brick to be a red brick, that would be cool. You can add a bit of color to our bushes out here. Maybe you want the lines in the road to be yellow, because we know they're yellow in the road usually, right? So you can add some color as well. Maybe I'll do mostly black and white and add a little color. It might be kind of cool to add just a little bit of yellow here to make the center of the road really stand out. They call that emphasis in art, when you're emphasizing something. So I might leave everything black and white and add one thing of color. That might be cool, one area of color. But yeah, it's up to you to be creative. All right, I'm gonna speed it up here so you can see the final product.